Okay, so Carmine, you wanted to discuss the play.
Yes. So initially, you brought up something on stream. Initially, it was called the Iron Throne, and
Yes.
then it was called Harrenhal, and now it's called the Mad King. And I
Yes.
have to wonder. At first, I forgot that it was called the Iron Throne. You reminded me
Mhm.
of that because at first I was like, Harrenhal is just a better name because it takes place during the tourney at Harrenhal.
Sure, but at the same time, the casual isn't gonna know.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
too. The casual fans know what the Mad King is over Harrenhal, but
Yeah.
also I think casuals know the Iron Throne a bit more than Mad King.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But if the
So,
play is at Harrenhal and the Iron Throne's not in it, I understand as well. Like, why are you calling it the Iron Throne? But yeah.
hmm and Elio Garcia, he actually tweeted out something in regards to what George said about the tourney at Harrenhal. Is that George has at one point said, I'm trying to find it here, that he could write like a whole book about what happens in those 10 days. But then again, he could.
He could, but he won't.
Hmm.
But he won't.
What do you say here? George says the great tournament at Harrenhal happened during the year of the fall spring, the tourney where Rhaegar crowned Lyanna Stark as the Queen of Love and Beauty. That was a much bigger tourney than either Ashford or the Hands tourney. The Ivanhoe format, again, champions and challengers, but longer with more challengers, and with a
Right.
seven-sided team melee in an ancient style. A lot happened there at Harrenhal. If I ever wrote the prequel book some readers keep asking for, I could probably set the whole thing during those 10 days.
Yeah, but I've been thinking a lot about this play and about the nature of fiction and what George is good at and where we are. Like the Game of Thrones franchise and what George was good at and this situation. And I don't I mean I don't know how to articulate it well. I have a lot of thoughts. They're not necessarily cohesive, but um I don't think Harrenhal is a story in and of itself. I don't understand how it can be a story like when you have a beginning, middle, and end. And this gets into some larger thoughts I have. I don't know if you want to talk about something else first or if you want to hear my spiel or what. But
Do you want to give us your thoughts after we've gone through the blog post? Because
sure.
reading it, if it sounds more like Rogue One
Yeah.
than it does like the prequels. Because like Rogue One, Red Letter Media said it best. It's like, remember AT-ATs and X-wings
Right.
and
And this is
Red
my problem
Five?
with Rogue. This is also like my problem with Rogue One. I mean, I'd say Rogue One does as well as it can.
Mm,
But the tacked on shit around Rogue One, I would say the franchise around Rogue One sink the movie. Rogue One might have been a good movie had it not had all of the extra fucking shit, franchise shit like around it. But um because it did
isn't that what
have a
we said about
character. Yeah.
Andor?
Yeah,
Isn't that
no,
what we
I
said
mean
about
Andor.
Andor?
Andor is
Because
different, and this is like our idea on Andor. Andor is a great show despite it being Star Wars. It's not a great show because it's Star Wars. It's a great show despite it being Star Wars. And actually, it has less of the Star Wars feel than everything else Star Wars. It doesn't feel like
that's
they're just shoving stuff in, except for that one Death Star dish scene after the
well,
credits in season one.
that and every now and then, like you're so enthralled in Andor and it's so good, and then you see a stormtrooper and you're reminded, oh, that's right.
Right. Oh yeah.
We're in Star Wars. That's right. Oh,
Um,
there's Tatooine. Okay,
but
that's right.
yeah, I let's get into this blog post because I have a whole thing about about franchises and endings and what George was always good at and how all of these things go against each other. But it's amazing, really. But let's get into it. The Mad King is coming. There's a tournament coming this summer. Lord Went is hosting it from his seat at Harrenhal, the largest castle in the Seven Kingdoms. It looks to be a grand event. Rhaegar Targaryen will be on hand, the Prince of Dragonstone and heir to the Iron Throne. The Starks are coming down from Winterfell, Eddard and his brothers Brandon and Benjen, and their lovely sister Lyanna. Her betrothed will be on hand. Robert Baratheon, the young lord of Storm's End. Howland Reed of Greywater Watch will attend, fresh from his visit from the Isle of Faces. This is all we know. We all know this from the Bran chapter in A Storm of Swords. This is new. Lord John Arryn will come along with Bronzion Royce. That's, we never heard about. I mean, not that he couldn't have been there, but we never hear about John Arryn being there.
It's weird that like Bronzion is showing up out of all the Vale Lords. I'm
Right.
assuming this, and this is gets to what we were talking about as we see all the other faces showing up. It seems more geared towards fans of the Game of Thrones show than fans of the book.
Right, until you get to the next thing, Richard Lonmouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, maybe fans of the show are going to know about Joffrey Lonmouth, but like Richard Lonmouth, the Knight of Kisses, like that's like a brand thing, and you're like, even book fans are like, we don't know anything that Richard Lonmouth did, like other than the theory that he's Lemoncloak. Like we don't know anything about him. Like
maybe George is confirming that theory right there, that he's
yes, it's just so weird, right? Like why would you shove that name in of anyone, of I mean, he's only because when Bran talks about the story, he talks about the night of Skulls and Kisses and like a Chardane like going around.
Well, I would imagine Richard Lonmouth is such a minor character, mostly, but he's there mostly because he's squiring for Rhaegar.
Yes.
So, but does he need to be named in this blog post?
That's the weird thing. Like of all the people to be named, like okay,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people are there. The Kingsguard Knights, Jonathan Darry, Barristan Selmy, and Arthur Dayne will be among competitors. Okay, along with Robert Baratheon, the dashing young Lord of Storm's End. Didn't edit this well, did you, George?
Leave him alone. He's got a lot on his mind.
I mean, you already talked about Robert Baratheon. What are you doing bringing him up again?
Leave him alone. He's fine.
Okay. And this is interesting. The monstrous knight out of the Westerlands they call the mountain that rides. Really?
So I would imagine the knight is here. The mountain is here because this is probably where Rhaegar knights him. And I know you said the mountain is 16 years old.
Right. Well, he has to. We know that Jaime and Arthur Dayne are like the youngest knights to ever exist, and so we know.
I thought Daemon Blackfyre was the youngest knight to ever exist at 12 years old.
12?
I might be wrong on that.
King Aegon knighted him, Daemon, and publicly bestowed Blackfyre, acknowledging him as son. I don't know if that was when that was done. Born in... I've never heard anything about him being 12. But... Oh, wait, here it is. He participated in a squire's tourney when he was 12 and 1, I think. And then the idea is that he knighted him after the tourney?
Mm-hmm.
But Jaime, I mean, there's another thing about Jaime mentioning that
Jaime is the youngest Kingsguard.
Knight.
No, Jaime was the youngest person ever elected to the Kingsguard.
I see. 12-year-old knight. I suppose that tracks then that you can have a 15-year-old or whatever mountain and be knighted at 15 if he's
by Rhaegar.
If he's not doing anything important.
Plus, it's like poetry, it rhymes. You have the Mad King elevating Jaime to Kingsguard, and also on the same day, Rhaegar knighting the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Rhaegar does knight the mountain. I'd always thought it was after the. I guess it had to be around then.
So I asked Elio Garcia about this, and he said to me that it was a common speculation back in the day that his knighting by Rhaegar took place at Harrenhal. So Elio's not surprised by this.
Yeah. Also says what he put in presumably prior to Harrenhal. Oh, someone specifically asked George years ago, back in 2008, was Gregor Clegane knighted at Harrenhal? And George said, I don't think so, but again, I need to check my notes. I think Gregor was already a knight. So, who
Well,
knows?
to be fair, in that sentence you're highlighting right there, the monstrous knight out of the Westerlands they call the mountain that rides. So that probably tracks.
Yeah. He's already a knight before getting there. So I guess he
Mm-hmm.
was knighted before, and he's not going to be knighted at Harrenhal. The fairest flowers of the seven kingdoms will attend to cheer them on, including Ashara Dane, with her laughing purple eyes, and the Dornish beauty Elia Martell, Princess Rhaegar's lady wife. Even the king will be there, Aerys II of House Targaryen, the Mad King. I'm planning on attending myself.
I gotta say, real quick, before you move on from the George's picture, so is the bowler hat like... This is a bowler hat, right?
Yeah.
Is this like a new look? Because he usually did the fisherman's cap, but I guess he's like evolving.
Yeah, he's trying to
into
class it up as he's been going to all of these like British events and stuff.
I mean,
Trying to look a little more chic.
yeah.
He did a whole bunch of photo shoots in related to Harrenhal, related to the play. He did a whole bunch of these photo shoots, and so yeah, they're trying to class him up, make him look more dignified. You've been hearing about the great tourney at Harrenhal ever since A Game of Thrones came out in 1996. Now, at long last, we're going to show it to you live on stage at Stratford-upon-Avon, which is a town outside of London, about halfway to Birmingham. Brought to you by the Royal Shakespeare Company. Having the Royal Shakespeare Company bring Westeros to the stage is so incredible that sometimes I fear am dreaming the whole thing. I fear that I am. It should be that I am fearing that I'm dreaming the whole thing. Yes, it goes without saying that I'm a huge Shakespeare fan, and it will likely surprise no one to learn that the history plays are my favorite, and none more so than those set during the War of the Roses. Our creative team is incredible as well. The play will be adapted by award winner Duncan Macmillan, People, Places, and Things, and directed by new Almeida Theatre Artistic Director Dominic Cook. Good Follies, The Hollow Crown. Working with them has been as much fun. Working with them has been as a thrill as it is an honor. Yeah, he really needed to edit this, but okay.
The rest of it is as technical details, but
Yeah,
I have to say before you give me your thoughts on the franchise and George and all that.
yeah.
Again, the play being called the Mad King, is he going to be the main character? If so, I think that would be the worst decision they could make, considering there's so much happening at Harrenhal that like Jaime's being knighted, the Knight of the Laughing Tree, Howland Reed, the whole stuff with Barristan and Rhaegar going off jousting against each other. Like there's Robert Baratheon in the melee. Like there's so much happening at Harrenhal that just focusing on the Mad King would be a little silly.
No, I think in the end there's a lot of plays that Shakespeare plays specifically that have titles about and aren't really about that character that much. You know, like so sometimes a play is more about a different character than the play is actually like entitled, So I mean, you can take Othello is mostly about Iago. Like he's the main character. Othello's he's a big character, but he's not the character, and there's a few other histories like this as well. So I think if you're going with a Shakespeare tradition not, you know, the name of the play isn't necessarily the most important character in the play. Julius Caesar is another one. Julius Caesar is a minor character in the play Julius Caesar. So, but that's you know,
Gotcha.
par for the course, I suppose. But yeah, it does seem to be a lot of plot, but by comparison, if we're really going on what is this mimicking, this is obviously mimicking Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And that attempt to take, I mean, it's economically very successful attempt to take a written property, a franchise. I mean, at the Cursed Child point, you'd already had movies, you'd already had the books. They're very successful, and so the theater community wanted some money on that, and so you have the Cursed Child. And I think Harry Potter and the Cursed Child was originally a 4-hour play. So you go see 2 hours, yeah.
Like
you go see 2 hours. You'd have intermission. You come back for 2 hours. I think they've trimmed it some, but it's still very. In fact, I think they used to show Harry Potter and the Cursed Child over the course of 2 days, and they've trimmed it so now that you can view it in one sitting.
That sucks for people who love Harry Potter but hated that fucking show and had to go to that show to realize how much they hate it. I hope I'm not spoiling the Harry Potter Cursed Child stuff too much for people, but a good chunk of it revolves around time travel. And J.K. Rowling understood back when she wrote, I think it was the third or fourth Harry Potter book that involved time travel, that once you do time travel, get rid of it quick, because a lot of it starts to make no fucking sense. Like it just opens a bunch of bullshit. Right. She understood that at the time.
Yeah. So I'm pretty familiar with the plot of Cursed Child and where it goes and such. And I mean, I think people that aren't Harry Potter fans think Cursed Child is an okay play, and those who are Harry Potter fans tend to not like it. It's but I asked my wife, who is a huge Harry Potter fan, what she thought of Cursed Child. And her response was, I've never seen it. I've never read it. Like, it just doesn't seem for me. And I was like, well, what do you mean?
Do you want to put up what the Cursed... By the way, they sell the Cursed Child book on Amazon. Do you want to put this up on screen? Because this is an example of what the book looks like. And if we ever get like a book based off this play, I imagine it'll probably look like this, unless George has someone write it, or
they did sell and market the screenplay, and so you can see that it's just, you know, it's dialogue, and they have the whole stage directions and everything there, you know. So I know people that bought it and they did not enjoy it, like reading the stage play, because plays are meant to be performed. So it's the same of like, oh, did you see the new Star Wars? Oh, well, I read the script. You're like, well, I read the screenplay. Like, it's not the fucking same thing, okay? Like, but my wife's opinion was interesting. I mean, granted, it's just one person's opinion, but, you know, this is a person who was really into the books and then just did not care about the play at all. And, you know, she listed a number of reasons. And she's like, well, first of all, Harry Potter was of a certain time. And I was into it in a certain time, and the Cursed Child came later, and it wasn't the same thing. You weren't like hyped with your friends to go out and buy the book and like read it that first day and talk about it and just like curl up in a corner and like read for 8 hours. You know, like that's not it. That's not it. And then she kind of said like, so the switch of medium was a big aspect. Like, this is a play, not a book. Another thing was, what am I going to go and buy? Like go to England and buy incredibly expensive tickets to go see this? Like, what? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's very different from going to a bookstore and buying a fucking book and then having this book and reading it. But also, she also said, you know, it was like also of a time, like, you know, she got busy with other things, and she'd move beyond Harry Potter in general. But also, it's not about really the characters she cared about. Like, the characters she cared about were like Harry, Hermione, and Ron. So why should I care about Harry Potter's son many years later? Like, the story was done and over. Like, and it was a good ending. She thought that she liked the ending. She was like, it was good and done. Why would I want to keep this going? Like, which is my thing about franchises. But so Harrenhal, I think it's going to suffer the same situation. Like, I'm sure it's going to be very, very economically profitable. I'm sure it'll sell out all of its tickets for years. But honestly, who is it for? Are people going to be jumping on flights to England to go see it? Are people going to be reading screenplays and enjoying screenplays by a person that's not George? And sitting there and enjoying it. It's also like a prequel, and I don't think it's a story. I don't believe it's a story in and of itself. Much like many of the problems with Rogue One, like Rogue One was mainly about. I mean, yes, there is some good parts, like the story, like our protagonist. What was her name? I don't even remember.
Jyn Erso?
Jyn. Like, at least you have the story of Jyn and like her family and her dealing with her antagonist and that coming to a conclusion. And, you've got Andor as well and that coming to a conclusion. But a lot of the broader thing was like, can we move all of the pieces into place to set up A New Hope? And it's like, well, that's not a story. That's just moving pieces into place to prepare for another story.
I think you're also missing one thing about this. You're right,
yeah.
But you're also this play. It's really only half of the prequel because the other half is Robert's Rebellion.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, in the same way that Rogue One is incomplete without A New Hope. Like, imagine if A New Hope never existed and you just had fucking Rogue One. Like, how are you supposed to even consider that? Like, it's very clear that you're bringing in John Arryn so that he can be like, maybe I should foster you two, or whatever, like that you're setting everything up. Like, none of these events make any sense on their own. Like, crowning Lyanna means nothing without understanding that she's going to get kidnapped and that's going to start a war and thousands, if not millions of people are going to die. Like, ending a play with like her getting crowned, like, what does that do? It's not a story in and of itself. And that gets me to like the whole problem with the Game of Thrones franchise and like George's abilities. Like, George is a very good short story writer. He was always a really good short story writer. His short stories are incredible, and they have endings. And endings of stories are really important because the ending is where your theme comes in, but it truly defines the character. Like, the character isn't really truly defined and understood in their totality until the end of the tale. But if the tale never ends, then we never know what the characters are. And the thing is, like, George, this man who is so good at endings, the one thing I told him when I met him was like, you have incredible endings, was that he has now created this world of like of unending stuff. Dunk and Egg and House of the Dragon. And I mean, House of the Dragon still is unended. We don't have Fire and Blood Part 2. We don't really know what happened. I mean, in a loose outline, but it's not really a story in and of itself. Fire and Blood, like Ice and Fire, unended. It's just this is just another thing without an ending. Like, you're going to see this play, but the play, you're right, Carmine, that the play doesn't end until Robert's Rebellion. Robert's Rebellion is the conclusion of this. So what is this? Hmm.
George is what is this? This is George's inability to say no. He could have just said no.
But
No,
no.
thank you. I have other things to do. Hmm.
Tough. It's tough when the Royal Shakespeare Company is asking you to do something. Or your agents have made a deal with the Royal fucking Shakespeare Company. It's a big deal. So my father is an enormous Shakespeare fan, and he used to, every time every time they did any sort of like conference or vacation in Europe, he'd always fly through London so he and my mom could go see a Shakespeare play at the Royal Shakespeare Company, so he could like see the best in the world doing it. Like, it's premiere of the premiere when it comes to actors, and it's just it like, I understand, like, yeah, it's really, really tough. You've got this really prestigious group willing to do this. But come on.
Are you gonna go? By the way, are you gonna fly out to fucking England for this shit?
It's gonna be really hard to find the time, dude.
As much as I would, first off, if I go see it, I'm not gonna be like on Twitter going, "Hey guys, there was a Game of Thrones YouTuber. I forgot the guy's name, but when he went to New York City Comic Con, he had his channel art, his channel icon, a patch on his jacket, and I felt that was a little too excessive. I kind of just want to go as like just a person and just watch it in private. But it's also probably going to be on HBO, kind of like how Hamilton's on Disney Plus, right?
Hmm. Yeah, maybe, but in like years.
Mm.
I mean, it's gonna be some time. It's gonna be some time.
I could travel. I mean, I would go, but
But it's much like,
mm.
here's the thing though. This is no different than D&D adapting Game of Thrones, or Ira Parker adapting United of the Seven Kingdoms, or Ryan Condal adapting Fire and Blood in House of the Dragon. It's not George's writing. Okay, he did not write this play. Okay, the play is written by Duncan Macmillan. Okay, you can say story by George. He sat in a room with this guy for 45 minutes and like explained the story and all the characters and was like, "You go at it." But this isn't George's writing, So it's as so you can come out of, yeah, you might want to go for your fucking Easter eggs and spoilers and shit and be like, "Is the Knight of the Laughing Tree really Lyanna, or is it Ned?" Like, does it matter? But like, whatever. Okay, if you want some final closure on that, go for it. But what else is there? What else are you going to find out from this? Did Ned and Ashara really fall in love? Like, knowing the definitive answer, does that even like make the story better?
It could. I mean,
George is
well,
the type of
no,
person that believes the exact opposite. He doesn't like giving
n-
us answers.
knowing that there was this super duper mastermind in the rebellion with Luthen, does that make the original trilogy better? Mm,
No.
exactly. But it's great. And anyways, it complements it.
I mean, Andor is a fucking very special case of them somehow like doing something good with the franchise. Nothing else fucking worked, man. Nothing else
And
worked.
this could be I'll give the play a chance. Will I go see it? Maybe. But I'll give the play a chance because it could be something fantastic. And you're right, George is great with endings. In fact, Night of the Seven Kingdoms just wrapped up yesterday, and I
Mm-hmm.
was saying how I absolutely loved the end to the season one because and maybe this is probably because of the
I mean,
source
I would say
material, but
it's a very good ending, despite Ira Parker trying to screw it up as much as possible. It's still pretty good,
oh,
but
stop
it's
it!
not
I
as good as not as good
will
as like. It's still pretty good, but Ira
we'll
Parker
debate
meddled a
this.
lot. He
We'll debate
meddled.
this on the podcast or on the stream, but I love the ending because Ira Parker filmed it as if he wasn't getting a season two. And that's my one fucking problem with shows nowadays. You saw this
He
firsthand
filmed
with
it like we
Alien.
weren't getting a season 2, but he filmed it at the same time like we were getting a season 15 and a season 10. Like what
We
the
don't know when,
fuck?
like,
Like
we don't know
the
when he
fucking
and
the fucking
George.
Lionel Baratheon setup, and then the fucking Summerhall setup.
Those were nice little Easter eggs, but we don't know when he and George had that conversation about 15 seasons. But you know firsthand with Alien Earth what happens when the writers all of a sudden give up halfway and
Oh
just
yeah.
try like setting shit up for the
Oh
next
yeah.
season. The rest of the season just starts fucking sucking. Night of Seven Kingdoms did not do that, which I got to compliment it on. So who knows? They could be writing this like they're not getting another play. They could be writing this like they're not getting Robert's Rebellion, anything. So who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I doubt we'll ever
it.
get Robert's Rebellion, to be honest. But
I just don't. I just don't see like what they're gonna do with all of these characters and somehow all of these plot lines. I mean, what are you gonna do? The Howland Reed thing? You're gonna have the Howland Reed, um, getting beaten up and Lyanna saving him and he needing to face the three opponents, and then with the Knight of the Laughing Tree appearing, and then you're gonna
this is. I'm
go.
glad you brought up Howland Reed because this is a conflict between book and show fans, right? Book fans want Howland Reed here because there might be a clue as to him being the Hooded Man or the High Sparrow or something Isle of Faces related.
Yeah.
Show fans would be like, "Why do I care?"
And then you're gonna have the fucking the fan story of Rhaegar going off to find the Knight of the Laughing Tree and it turning out to be Lyanna, which not that George hasn't hinted that it's Lyanna with Elia Sand, but like it's such a dumb idea. It should just really be Ned. Like Ned should be the Knight of the Laughing Tree. But I understand that like everybody believes it's Lyanna, and this guy will probably make it Lyanna, even though
But
Ned
Preston,
makes
it
sense.
connects so well because if it is Ned and Rhaegar thinks it's Lyanna, and he's actually attracted to the Knight of the Laughing Tree because he thinks it's Lyanna, that means he gives the Queen of Love and Beauty title to Lyanna based off a lie, which tracks with what happened in the final seasons of Game of Thrones on how everything was built on the lie.
That's very fun. It's an interesting idea that Rhaegar never has a conversation. She believes her the Knight of the Laughing Tree, and in fact, it's been Ned the entire time.
It's been Ned the entire time.
And he's like, "Oh my god, it's whatever." I expect this Richard Lonmouth plot to be the most like fucking riveting goddamn plot. Maybe he's the main character. Maybe it's all about Howland Reed, Richard Lonmouth like love story. I don't know.
Dude, this fandom sometimes irks the shit out of me. Like, there's so many theories about Richard Lonmouth because he was Rhaegar's squire. Maybe he's just Rhaegar's squire. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's just Rhaegar's squire,
It's
guys.
skulls and kisses, man. Skulls and kisses.
We'll see what happens. I doubt HBO will release it the same day on HBO Plus or whatever the fuck that is now. We'll see what happens. I would like to see it. I'll see if I can get up there. You should come with me, watch it together.
Yeah, somehow. I mean, first of all, like, what's gonna happen? Like, they're gonna release these tickets, and they're gonna be like $500 a pop, and they're gonna sell out immediately. And you're like, I'm really supposed to spend, buy this $500 ticket, and then fly to London, and then travel up to this other town, for this goddamn play, so I can do a video on the 3 Easter eggs that they had in this fucking 4-hour play on whether Lyanna is the Knight of the Laughing Tree and whether Ned and Ashara Dane like fell in love.
What are you gonna have like your notebook the entire time? Okay, like Richard Long, that's it. He's wearing this armor. Okay, it might be interesting for Winds of Winter. Wait a minute, he has something yellow in his pocket.
I look forward to the fucking 4-legged dragon sigils.
Oh man. But yeah, no. Interesting. That George is doing this. All we really want is wins. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I guess. I've never been like. It's funny because I was so excited about Knight of the Seven Kingdoms and things like that, which turned out pretty good. This, I don't know what it is about it that just gives me bad taste. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I wanted all of this Harrenhal stuff revealed in the Winds of Winter, and then when we're not getting the Winds of Winter, like maybe that's it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, man.
We want to wrap it up here?
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We'll see you all next time. Have a good one.